Thia would be like, hey.
Thia would try to make friends with the Xenomorph.
Thia would be riding on the Xenomorph's back in a backpack. She's like, woohoo! Yeah, that's what I think.
And then rooting for it, I was like, well, I guess he could be like set in World War II and he's kicking Nazi butt or something. But even then, felt like that's not really a special new movie.
Hello, I'm Russ Milheim from The Direct. Thank you guys both for talking to me about the film.
Hell yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. It really is like a Predator film unlike anyone's ever seen. It was a really fun experience.
Good.
My first question for both of you is, you both play incredibly different versions of, a Predator and two synthetics that are types that we haven't ever seen before in this franchise. Can you both talk about, how you work to find your performance while making a distinctive and unique mark on the franchise and avoiding any kind of similarities to what we've seen before?
Yeah, for me, I'm a huge fan of the Alien universe, and to kind of join the other actors who have played these, iconic, who've worked for the company in Weyland-Yutani. It was really special for me. But also, Dan, we wanted to create a synthetic that we'd never seen before, like you said. And this film is set furthest into the future of any Alien movie or any Predator film. So because of that, we were able to really create androids we'd never seen, where her emotions, Thia's particularly, could be more advanced and more human-like, and she could have a bigger personality, all while, still there are robotic elements to her, but she is quite empathetic, which I love about this film, because it's literally a monster and a robot, but it's a very human story and has so much heart in a movie where there are no humans. So I'm a big Bishop fan, Prometheus. I mean, he got to play dual roles, so I can say that I've done that as well. I feel like Tessa's she's more hardcore. She's very on a mission, much more scientific in her way of being. And I think the difference there is that Thia, she's broken. So she's seen a lot of the world, but she's been stuck in this nest, and she's got to see the beauty of Genna and this planet. And I think that that's grown her personality and her want for connection, even as a synthetic being. So we had a lot of fun playing with the lore and the history. And, that's something that Dan is a fan himself. So I think he has a right to push the franchise in a new direction.
For Dek, I guess discovering him and building him from the ground up, it's really cool. What intrigued me the most about the script when I first read it was how different of an approach this is to any movie that has been in the franchise. I think having a Predator be the underdog is such a crazy premise. We've only ever seen them as, these apex predators. They are usually the dominators. They are usually the ones that, take over the screen and make you feel uneasy, every time they appear. So I was still trying to hold on to those aspects. So I rewatched all of the films, read up on the comics as well, and wanted to still use everything that makes them iconic, use things that made people fall in love with them. It's a 40-year franchise, so there are things there that are working and have worked. But I also wanted to, like you said, have my own kind of flavor and put that kind of uniqueness into him, because he is a unique Yautja. He's undersized. He is the runt of his family. He is on a mission not only to hunt the biggest and baddest, but it's a mission to prove himself. It's a mission of redemption, for him. So his whole story is different. And I wanted to really just pay homage to what's been before, but also inject the whole new energy into the franchise that I think really works. And I think Dan did such a great job, with illustrating these characters.
Yeah.
Before we head off, one last quick question for you both. If your characters were to ever run into an actual Xenomorph, how would they react and fare against it?
Oh,
Brother.
I think Thia would be like, hey.
Thia would try to make friends with the Xenomorph.
Thia would be riding on the Xenomorph's back in a backpack. She's like, woohoo! Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I want to see Dek face off.
Yeah, that would be sick, man. I think he would rip its head off.
Yeah.
That's what we all want to see. So
personally, I think he would.
But thank you guys so much.
Thank
and
you.
I love the movie.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you
It's
so
really
much. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. You have a good one. Surprise! It's Daddy
It's
Yautja.
father.
Such a unique film, especially in regards to a Predator film. And so my first question is it is such a wild swing. And so when you were thinking of this idea, what were some stuff that maybe you were like, as you're thinking about these wide swings, like what was maybe not that? Like that was too much, or like that was too far?
I'll say the not that before I can remember what the too far was. But the not that was certainly like, because the very first nugget of the idea was, what if the Predator wins? And I just really didn't want it to be a slasher movie where the slasher wins. I really wanted you to root for the guy. And then rooting for it, I was like, well, I guess he could be like set in World War II and he's kicking Nazi butt or something. But even then, felt like that's not really a special new movie. And then it became, wait a second, what if he's really the protagonist of his own story, and I get people to really root for him on his own journey, his own adventure. What was too far? I don't know that. There's probably was just some designs, because every time I sort of ask people to like kind of break what the idea is of a Yautja to try and find a new look for it. And there probably were some designs that were like too far gone. And even some of the wardrobe designs were maybe too cultured. I really wanted we worked with Nyla Dixon, was our costume designer, who won an Academy Award for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Usually the Yautja's costuming is done just by the creature designers. This is the first time we really had someone who's like the costume department, a true artist of that specific craft, is designing their wardrobe. And some of early designs felt like a little too medieval, and too earthbound, and really tried to find something that spoke to. It was a little bit more Spartan-like, since their culture is so hardcore, and also that was a little bit more like Conan, barbarian nomadic culture. But I don't know. That's not exactly what you're asking. I don't know if I have it too far.
No, I mean, that's all great, though. That's all really interesting to hear how that process develops.
Yeah.
You know, given that this movie does star a Weyland-Yutani synthetic, this is basically like an alien crossover film without the Xenomorphs.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about why you chose specifically to basically make an alien crossover film without a Xenomorph?
Yeah. Idea number one was, because Prey was such a solo survival tale, I wanted this to be a relationship movie, and especially because we were going to have this predator speaking in a different language, and wanted to see it have a dynamic with something, with interacting, to get more of a window into its insides, because it wasn't certainly going to voice them out loud. I wanted to pair him with something, and I knew if we put a human in the movie, then it'd become the Humans movie, and he's just in it. And T2 already exists, and was really like, no, we got to make sure that whatever else I put him in there with, he's still the protagonist. And so I thought, monster and a robot, there's something that's really fun about that. And then thought, well, I know a company that makes robots that is in under the same technical. I can use them because they are owned by Fox and Disney, by 20th and Disney. And also these franchises I've touched before, and I just thought it's so much cooler, rather than just grabbing the action figures and smashing them together. It's so much cooler to take like an element from one franchise and fuse that to another. That's something we hadn't quite seen before. So that's how it all kind of came to be.
Now, recently, Fede Alvarez joked that he was like, oh yeah, I have to direct co-direct an AVP film with you. And so that just makes me think, have there been any conversations about doing a proper AVP at some point, with Disney, 20th Century, with anyone?
I think just going off of what I was just saying, for me, the coolest part of it would be to let this kind of grabbing these elements and letting them cook. Once again, we don't want to pull it out of the oven too quickly, and have it all just be raw. We really want things to simmer and boil and get up to the perfect temperature. I don't know. I don't cook. I'm using too many terms now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Prey, Killer, and even this one promises maybe there's a little bit more. Can we hope for like a continuation at some point for those 3 films?
I think this movie just has to do well, and hopefully it will. But should it? I would certainly love to make more. There's plenty more ideas in the hopper for sure.